business to get through, and then we will get all of you on board here, so you can all get back. I'm sure there's like a roast down at the clubhouse or something. So we've opened at 5:58, John, if you want to make that correction, not 6 o'clock, we'll blame Carol. And need a motion to sign the warrants.
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
All those in favor? While these are going around, I'm sure everyone had a chance to read the glorious minutes of October 16th. Do I have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Second.
All those in favor? And we do have just 2 items of old business. Renee, if you'd like to bring up the septic.
Septic replacement grant update. The ad went out in the Friday Aquatic Tides for contractors, so we welcome. The bid packets are in the town office. I've also put them on our town website at townoflubec.com. The bid due date is November 13th, which is also the date of a selectmen's meeting where you'll be opening them and awarding the bid to the lowest bidder. I'd also like you to set the date for the advice of the DEP for the end of June. So we'll just go to the last day of June, which I think is a
June
Sunday.
30th.
But June, to have the project completed by June 30th, 2020. So
Need anything for that, or just
yeah, let's just do a motion.
motion project needs to be completed by June 30th, 2020?
Second.
Motion Dan.
Motion
Second
Dan,
Richard.
yeah, might as well.
Yep.
I was there.
So moved.
All those in favor?
Let's get that septic on the way.
Now that we've gotten that past us.
Yeah.
And some bad news about our fire truck.
Yes, the FEMA fire truck grant was denied. Wah, wah, wah. Just try again, or
Nothing more
we'll
to be
go
said
buy our
about
own.
that. Yeah.
That's it. I just want to let you know that it was denied.
All right, heading on the first topic of new business. If any of you there, you're in the room or out in TV land, remember during the budget meeting, I believe it was Tracy's Hotel brought up the opportunity maybe of re-looking at four-wheelers / side-by-sides, ATVs, finding their way and getting their way into Lubec. So Tracy's Hotel, his son Colby and myself went to Dennisville and met the wonderful group out there, the Dennyville Riders,
Dennisville Snowmobile ATVs.
Dennyville ATV Club.
Eastern Rail Riders.
Had a great stern cup of coffee that kept me up all night. It was fantastic. And asked them if they'd like to make a presentation at one of our meetings, and they are here. So I'd like to, I guess, introduce Derek Brown. Are you going to be speaking to the group?
Yep, I guess so.
If you'd like, you could probably sit right there for questions. That way David will zoom in on you and get off of us.
Would you like me to sit or stand to speak?
You can sit, that's fine.
Good choice.
Yep, right leg. Okay, well, welcome everybody, I guess. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Derek Brown. I am the president of the Dennisville Snowmobile ATV Club. A little brief history of, we were incorporated in 1998 as such, and we have progressed along to the point that we now cover 55 miles of snowmobile and ATV trails that we groom and maintain for ATV and snowmobile access in the winter as well. We have 2 groomers at our clubhouse that is located at 4 Milwaukee Road in Dennisville, which is, if anyone's familiar with that, it's right on the corner of 86. As you're headed out 86, it's right off the corner after you buy the sand pits there. It's a big cream-colored building with a red roof. And one of the things that we do take pride in, just a little side note if I may, we're not just a snowmobile and ATV club. We are very active in our community. We raise money for scholarships. We host a variety of kids' nights. We host a variety of family fun days, all of these at no charge. And we are highly active in our community, and we bring together a complete array of people from all walks of life, and it's a very positive, a very energized crew. We currently have about 132 members, and I say members, 4 people can be on a membership, so that can be as many as you know, that times 4, so. However, back to the basis of why we're here, the ATV trail system, as you know, is about 2,300 miles in the state of Maine. And that encompasses 25% of those trails are in Washington County. And it brings a tremendous amount of commerce to down East Maine. There are snowmobilers, and up in Jackman, Holton, if you go north of Holton, Presque Isle, Fort Kent, their summertime is like Bar Harbor's summertime. There, it's in the wintertime. They have snowmobilers up there. They groom one side of the sidewalks for snowmobiles, and I mean, this brings money. And what they're finding out now is ATVs are catching on extremely fast like this. We opened up the Sunrise Trail, which goes from Eastport down to Perry. It's the old rail line there. And they said, well, you know, they expected to be 35, 40 ATVs a day. You can sit there any given Saturday or Sunday and count 100 or 200. So it is bringing, we keep a logbook at the clubhouse. It is bringing people from all walks of life to our area, and they are spending money. And we're not typically talking about, when we think ATVs and four-wheelers and whatnot, we think of back in the 80s when everybody had a four-wheeler and they went mudding behind everybody's dooryard and everything like this. We're talking $25,000, $30,000 machines. It's not a faint of heart kid's toy. It's a responsible. 90% of our riders are older people, because it's a next generation of thing for you to do after kids grow up, basically. And not to stereotype anybody, but that's how it is. And those people come to spend money. They come to go to restaurants. They come to go to shops. I mean, you can ask the city of Calais. We went in there. I've taken a survey, and I haven't done it every time we go. 23 of us went to Calais one day, and we spent well over $1,000 just in food and gas in Calais on a Sunday afternoon. I mean, $1,000 wouldn't have been there, you know, if we hadn't drove in. So everybody comes for a reason. It's usually to eat. We are all very jolly people, so we do enjoy going and spending money at all these communities. And I think this is a tremendous opportunity for the town of Lubec to get on the board here with, you know, with a little more tourism money coming this way. And I will say, with having a club represent the trail system in your area, you are literally creating a self-policing state of ATVs. And what I mean by this is, if Jason is sitting on his porch 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and
Unlikely.
well, I know that, but if he's sitting on his porch and somebody rides down by on the main drag with no helmet doing a wheelie, he's going to say, hey, look, cut that out, because I'm going to lose my privilege of being able to get down here. You know, it's not like he has to call a warden. It's not like in the town of city of Presque Isle, the ATV incident rates, once they allowed ATVs to go within the town limits, the ATV incident rates were cut by 90%. And that came right from the Presque Isle Police Department themselves. And it's just it changes the characteristic. Before our club was organized, everyone rode snowmobiles in the wintertime and ATVs in the summer. You could go out in the spring and pick up garbage bags of returnable cans and garbage at every single crossing. I mean, it was a litter. It really was degrading. Right now, I would challenge you to go on our trail system anywhere, and you could not get a full bag of garbage. Am I exaggerating? I mean, anybody that's been on them. I mean, everyone picks up after themselves, and if you see someone that's not picking up, we all pick up garbage behind if someone does drop something or whatever. So the trail system is extremely clean, and it's very well respected and taken care of. We do, within our town limits, we do set strict speed zones. We set them at 25 miles per hour and 15 if it's close quarters. Someone requests it, we can do that. But also what these trails do, it's not only ATVs, and we're talking primarily ATVs as per snowmobiles because you don't have the snow cover down here to speak of. But it's a multi-use thing. Once you have the permission, it's a multi-use thing. The good sportsman's law protects, if I'm walking on your land and I fall and get hurt, the good sportsman's law protects you that I can't come after you because you have opened your land up to let the public recreate on your land. So it's not a liability to the landowner. It does provide an open use access on a basis for everyone, to hike, I mean, these trails, they'd be cross-country skiing trails in the wintertime, they'd be whatever, anybody hiking trails in the summer as well. Horseback riding, I mean, they could be multi-use for whatever purposes anyone wanted them because they would be public use trails. So it's not like it's just an ATV trail, it's a public use trail. So everyone would benefit, it's not just the ATV club. We have a very, very wide variety of bicyclists and horseback riders, and I mean every single day on our trails, so.
You said that you were located in Dennisville, that's
Yeah.
your center.
Yes.
But I'm assuming that you have members from all the whole Washington County area.
We have members from Fort Kent to Prince Edward Island
Uh-huh.
to,
Okay, they're part of the Dennisville group?
all part of the Dennisville group?
Wow.
Yep.
So when you go and do a benefit in town,
Yes.
you could do it in not just Dennisville, you could do it in Lubec.
Could do it any way you'd like.
Could you support something, let's say, like the Christmas tree decorating, or, you know, something that's in existence, but you could help it?
Absolutely, we're all part of the community, and that's what that's what we strive to do. We're not just here to ride around on ATV.
Yeah.
We choose to support our communities that we recreate in, and
Yeah.
that's what we do. We have a landowner supper, appreciation supper every year. It's totally free. We have roast beef, pork, chicken. It's all free. We feed 400 or 500 people at the Pembroke School every year.
That would be enormously helpful here, because we're usually groups of citizens who pool together and run a committee to do something wonderful for the town. But
Absolutely.
there isn't a financial backing unless it's us.
Right, absolutely. No, no.
If I may, the meeting I went to, they talked about, you guys did I think it was a pick up old tires like contest or something with some other town or garbage.
Landowner cleanup.
Right.
Yeah, landowner
Who
cleanup.
cleaned up the most.
Yes.
They were talking about benefits they did for
Yeah.
marathons, for students, you know, we have the marathon here, students going to school. I guess you had all just gotten back, about 30 of you have gone all the way up to Presque Isle.
Yep,
for a
40.
long weekend.
Yeah.
Fort
Yeah.
Kent,
Yep,
Fort
Fort Kent.
Kent,
We had
right.
40, how many went?
26 buggies.
26
Do you
machines.
go on your ATVs, or do you, yeah?
All the way up.
Wow, so there's a trail you can get up there?
Well, we went
Yeah.
to Presque
Yeah.
Isle.
You can go anywhere you want to go.
Yeah.
Wow.
When we rode in there, the hotel owner came out and thanked us very much for bringing our business there.
Yeah,
The restaurant, we stopped in the restaurant, the Lakeview restaurant, with 44 of us. I called ahead and made reservations, and the owners met us in the parking lot and said, wow, we're glad you guys made it, come on in, we're all ready for you, you know?
yeah.
And it's open arms,
Mhm.
it's looked upon as, it's tremendous income. I mean, it's income. The motel, Ivy's Motel in Holton, when we was all done, Sunday night, packing up, called and said, would you come over to the motel a minute, please? I'd like to speak to you personally. Because my wife and I didn't stay there, we just drove up the night that morning. And he said, I just want you to know, and these are his exact words, your crew made a tremendous impact on our week. We was having a very slow week, and you really turned our week around, and I want to thank you very much. You did make a tremendous difference. And I mean, there's no need to do, he didn't have to say that, you know what I mean? But it really matters to these
Yeah.
people. It matters to the business owners, you know?
Mhm.
And even in Holton, you know, I mean, like, just like down here, the Eastland Motel, or some of the inns or whatnot, I mean, some days it's just enough, it helps out. We all know what it's like living in a small town, you know? You sometimes are waiting for crickets, and that's how it is.
It's a big boost.
It is,
Yeah.
it's a tremendous amount of economy. You had a question?
Is it your intention tonight to seek permission to cross town land or to put trails on town land so that you can connect Lubec with existing trails?
Well, and I don't really know.
It's really, as best as sort of I've surmised at the moment. Right now, there's just an informative, for instance, I've been going around to some business owners and local people asking them what they think. Because part of the process would be, obviously, how to get into town. So it's, and they've talked about how they would research and, they'll talk to neighbors, there were some old trails, some places to get, because there's certain places you can't go, like on County Road or 191, but you are allowed a certain amount of distance. So if the trail can come out, you can go, I think it's 1,500 feet, I want to
It's
say.
1,500 feet with like a guardrail and whatnot.
Right,
But it's,
and then to get to another connection, so it would still take time to map all that out. I know we'd read a town meeting to vote on it, but things that can also be discussed are, maybe we allow it all the way into town and down Water Street, or maybe we say all the way down to town, but you gotta turn into maybe Pleasant and park at the library, so that you don't go up and down Water Street. There can, whatever restrictions, there can be, tags or something that, residents, extra things that residents need, another form of income, but also to make sure that, you've got responsible people and we get to check the machines out. There's so many things we can do, and yet also so many things we have to look into before it comes to that vote. So from this introduction, I wanted them to come down and encourage them to talk about it, and then encourage everyone out there listening to, stop into the town hall or call the town hall, whether it be with your support or, used to have a trail behind my property or something. I'd be more than happy to talk to the club and see if that's something that could be used again. So it's really just sort of opening up the conversation for the, not only the opportunity, if you think it's an opportunity, but at least to address, a question that was asked by several townspeople.
Is there, right now, are there any existing trails? I mean, like you said on the four-wheelers, they used to go everywhere, somewhere out back. But are there existing trails anywhere where you think it would be a start? I mean, are there any?
I haven't personally, I haven't looked into that. I know where there's a few that we could, talk with landowners and whatnot, but Charlie Corliss works for the Department of
One of those.
yeah,
Parks and Recreation.
Parks and Recreation, he does that. He does a lot of the trail map layout and whatnot. And he called me this night, tonight, he couldn't be to the meeting, but he is absolutely readily available at anyone's, if you need help or advice or whatnot. But it would all be done in one of the stipulations of having a club seek it out as far as your groups go. It has to be all written landowner permission. It's got to be documented through the state of Maine, and it has to be done right. It's not just like, hey, can I go across the back 40? Well, do whatever you want to do. It has to be done right, and it has to be done, according to DEP standards, as far as brook crossings, bridge crossings, and all that whatnot. So, I mean, it's very methodical and controlled. It will take time. I mean, if we said to it here in the next month or two that, yeah, we want to do it, it would be late next summer before it even come to fruition as far as driving down here the first time. So, I mean, it is a very lengthy process and very, very time consuming, but it's not out to be outdone. I mean, the city of Callis, they wanted just one trail in town, and so you could get to the shopping malls, and they realized the benefit from it, and now pretty much all the roads are open in Callis.
All the streets set for south, north, and.
Right, except for the state aid roads,
So I think from a town perspective, I think we're allowed to, we could say what roads we could open up.
Yeah, absolutely.
191, 189, I'm not too sure about South Lubec. I know our,
That's a
yeah.
state.
Yeah.
So you have to get distances, and I've talked to a couple people, and I won't mention the wheres and the who's, but, back in the day,
Yeah.
they'd be getting all the way into town.
Yeah.
So,
we used to,
yeah, so
yeah.
it's kind of going back and seeing where people went and how they got there. I know one they mentioned then they go along the beach, and we kind of joked saying, well, that's probably not gonna happen now.
I don't think so.
But, you know, things like that. So it's gonna take a lot of research and time, and so certainly by any means, anyone in town who's experienced or been around back in the day and knew some old places, please come up and tell us. And I think when all that's complete, then we would present it to the town with its options and see how it goes.
Derek, how would you recommend to get going with this whole, you
Well-
guys do it, this is what you guys do?
Well, I'll tell you what, if it was up to me how I'd go about it, I would absolutely make sure that the town was gonna say, yes, it's okay. I would figure out what routes you wanted us to use in town, what would be fine, what would work. I would work backwards, from here and work my way out of town with landowner permissions and whatnot, because it's, everybody knows you come into town here 3 or 4 different ways, and if you get almost here with 15 landowners and then there's one landowner you're not gonna get around, well, you kinda gotta backtrack and do it all over again. So it's a very strenuous thing to do as far as getting it, but if we've got this buttoned down, so you say, yes, we're gonna allow it, this is where we want the trails, this is what we wanna do. The DOT will work with us on some leniency as far as right-of-ways on some of the state aid roads. Obviously, it's safety #1. That's gonna be the biggest issue, and then we'll work for availability from there. And then we can hop back and forth to our landowners and whatnot, from there.
Are you saying, I'm not sure I got a total picture here. You're mostly on the trails, right? I mean, trails off-road,
Yes,
but there may be occasions where you need to go on the road, is that?
absolutely.
Okay,
If you go up, we'll use Aroostook County, or let's use us, let's use Robinson, for example. For us to access Robinson trails and go to Callis,
yeah,
we have to ride, what is it, 7 miles, 8 miles?
Something like that, yeah.
7 or 8 miles on the hot top right up by the Robinson boat landing. We'd actually leave the rail trail
yeah,
in Pembroke on the crossroads in Pembroke, take a left and you go out by Little Falls and you keep right on going up
yeah.
Robinson
Yeah,
Ridge.
because I can't see it being total trail here.
Yeah, I was gonna
Oh, it's not gonna be.
No.
No, it's not gonna be. I mean,
I'm one for bringing it right into town. It's for economic benefit,
yes.
you have to bring it into town.
Well, that's who's gonna benefit. I mean, that
It's
is,
the businesses,
it's what it is.
Mhm.
That's
it's
what
the
it is.
community as a whole.
I mean, and us as a group, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say, hey, we get together, this is just how it happens, we get together and say, where's everybody wanna go today? Well, let's go to the Columbia Falls Takeout over there, you know, and go over there. We show up with 25, 30 people, you know what I mean? And that place is busy. I mean, and they feed us all lunch, and that's our ride, we turn around, we go home. You know,
Of
we
course,
might
in
make a
Lubec, the ideal would be that for you to have hydroplaning ATVs, because then you
Right.
could just do the
Right,
water.
we could scoot right down the bay, but
Can I
no,
mention a
it's,
couple things?
yeah,
Yeah.
So, one thing, we're mentioning ATVs, I would probably, it might be easier to say OHRV or off-highway recreational vehicles. ATVs, people are thinking someone on an old four-wheeler with an open-face helmet versus a UTV, which is a side-by-side with a roll cage and harness, safer than half the vehicles that are on the road in Lubec already.
It's both.
Yeah, so if you say OHRV, then you cover all of it.
Yeah.
But really, it should be a two-pronged approach. It should be trail, and not just an economic impact, but access.
yeah,
There's a lot of people that are senior citizens, retired, like all over the West, they do weekend trips. Every single weekend, all over Yellowstone, all over Grand Canyon, all
Yeah.
over, and they have access to all of the roads.
Yep.
So we need to talk about two different things. One is the trail access and opening areas that you normally wouldn't even see.
yep,
And then the other would be, where can we get these side-by-sides or ATVs? What roads would be legal?
yeah,
And the UTVs, I mean, you do a street legal kit, it's blinkers, it's a horn, it's mirrors, and it's legal. And that's what they do all over the West.
yeah,
So if we're gonna do it, I would think the best way to do it is tackle both of those.
yeah.
You know, not just make it ATV only exclusively, because then again, you can't get into town, and then you lose out on the economic impact.
Right.
So you've got basically scenic trips, stop at McFadden's for fuel, and you never make it into town.
Exactly.
And we wanna bring them into town.
Yeah, you want them in town.
Right.
The problem I see is just gonna be, I mean, out west, you can ride on county roads, but can you in Maine? I don't know.
Well, there are places that we can and we can't, like I say, you can, I can get like down to Quaddy Head down there, we can get DOT will work with us in allowing, because they recognize the income this brings. They recognize what it brings to the towns. And they say, well, you know, 25 up the side.